Hey guys, thanks so much for taking your time to tune in for another First Impressions video. This is Son of Liberty. So today I'm really excited to actually be able to bring this gun to the range. I've had it for several weeks and I've been absolutely dying to shoot Shadow Systems MR920. Now, when I had actually first heard about these, the only ones that I was seeing was the non-RMR compatible. So to my knowledge, they hadn't released the RMR cuts yet. But I was in fact wrong on that. When I saw this in my local gun store, I've got to tell you that I just fell in love with it. The moment I put it in my hand, I knew that I had to have this gun. As a very pronounced Glock fan guy, right? You know, I'm okay saying that. I love Glocks, but there are some flaws with them in my opinion. A lot of people have problems shooting Glocks because of the what's called the Glock hump in the back. This is something that is not an issue with this gun. Another thing that blew me away is the way that the trigger feels. If I could get this trigger in every single gun, I would be 100% happy. It is just a phenomenal trigger, and I'll give you guys a closer look at that and explain how the trigger feels in my hand here shortly. Now, this gun is, I don't know if you can see the dust and the dirt on this thing. I've been doing a lot of concealment drills at home with this thing and just getting used to the trigger because this one does fit in my Tier 1 concealed Glock 19 holster with the APL Gen 3. So anyway, we're going to put a couple magazines through this thing, let you guys know how it responds and feels. I feel very confident. Hopefully we're going to have a really solid first impression review. So let's get to it. All right guys, first impressions of the Shadow Systems MR920. Man, this thing is accurate. It's not like the last, if you guys were able to catch the last first impression review that I done of the Masada, IWI Masada. I had a lollipop the sights on this thing. This has the Ameriglows high vis sight, and so these things are just right on point. Exactly where I am putting them at is exactly where it's shooting at. Recoil feels phenomenal on this gun. Very predictable. It's not hard, it's not soft, it's just right there in the middle, but it feels really good. I have complete control of this gun. Check out that sexy barrel. That looks beautiful, don't it? Man, this thing feels amazing. Let me change out the batteries in one of these and I'll give you guys a closer look here at the trigger and how it feels. All right, so the trigger on this thing is just absolutely phenomenal. It's kind of a mixture between a curved trigger and a flat trigger, as you can see here. Here is the take-up. It has a very pronounced wall. When you get to it with your finger, you know that you're there. It's not one of these triggers where you get to the wall and you're not ready for it and it breaks before you're ready. It's just, you feel like your trigger finger could sit right here all day long, no problems. So again, a very nice pronounced wall, very crisp break. So there's no creep after that wall, and it's got a very short but defined and definitive wall on that reset. It's very pronounced, so you know that you're back to it and you're ready for another shot. So let's take a look at that again. Again, here is your take up. Right to that wall, very pronounced break, very crisp break, and we're back here, bam, to that wall again. This camera here always does a really good job at capturing this. So again, here is your take up here, and again, you can see that it's like almost, it's not a curved trigger, it's not a flat trigger, it's just kind of somewhere in between. But again, right here to that take up, very nice pronounced wall. We have the break and a very crisp reset, but that trigger is pushing my finger forward to get to that wall faster. Guys, I'm telling you, this thing feels phenomenal. And another thing to notice or to note here, guys, this thing comes with Magpul P-Mags. So just, you know, if you're against these things, obviously you can just put them in your bag for training, you know, for the range. And change these out for your Glock mags. but that's what comes with these particular models. So anyway, let's get back to shooting and see how this thing does on its second mag. Mag 2. I'm going to load up just a few more rounds so that I can actually see how the gun tracks from target to target. I know how it's going to react just because it's a high-vis sight. I can see it really well, but I want to make sure that I actually do that here on camera for the testing purpose. So give me just a second and we'll put another couple rounds through it. All right, guys, so one of the things that I forgot to test was the one-hand shooting, just to kind of see how the gun is going to react with those new shooters who haven't developed that recoil mitigation skill set yet. So I want to just see how the gun performs with just a very relaxed grip. This one feels so much better than the Masada that I shot when, just like I said, just with a very relaxed grip. The gun really doesn't travel too far from my actual hand in the opposite direction. Man, this thing feels really good. So now I want to see how this thing performs when it comes to tracking. This front sight makes it so much easier. Make sure the gun is now clear. I'll give you guys a better look at this, but you can see there, that front sight. All right, so let's see if you guys can get a good look at that front sight. See how bright that is? Just absolutely beautiful, easy to pick up in, you know, various different lighting conditions. But the only thing that I'm not too crazy about is the rear sight. Let's see if I can get this lined up here. There we go. So the only thing I'm not crazy about this rear sight reminds me of the Trijicon HD sights. So not only do I absolutely despise installing those sights, Ameriglo does a much better job in shaping these to make them a lot easier for installation. But the way that the rear sight is formed, it kind of, I guess I just prefer a larger, wider rear sight. Obviously, those aren't as good at, you know, at accuracy, but the thing about it is that the more light that I can get through there, the easier I can pick up that front sight and kind of dial the front sight in for shooting. But because my vision is getting worse, that's the reason why I really like these really high-vis sights that are coming out on the market. All right, guys, so that is going to conclude the first impressions video of the Shadow Systems MR920. Guys, I've got to tell you that I'm absolutely blown away. I absolutely love this gun. It done everything that I thought that it was going to. And if you're a Glock guy like me, again, I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm a Glock guy. Some people, you know, get a lot of flack for it. I don't even care. You know, it's just a personal preference for me. I like to modify. I like to put other things. I'm not a minimalist when it comes to most of my guns. I like supporting the industry, which then leads to more things coming out from more guns. I like to really spruce up the things that I carry. It's just me. That's just who I am. But I will say this, if you were looking at purchasing a Glock in the future, going to be adding additional upgrades, this right here would be a solid contender. I would advise you to really take a serious look at this. You've got slide serrations, you've got double trigger undercut, you've got a already somewhat of a kind of like a stipple job. It's not super aggressive. It's more on the probably a little bit to the rear of a mild side, but you do have channels right here for, quote, your accelerator cut. Comes with a really nice set of Ameriglo high-vis sights. The trigger on this thing is absolutely phenomenal. Better than most aftermarket triggers that I have purchased and paid money for. To be honest with you, I'm going to see if I can buy this and put this in a couple of the other guns that I run. So Other than that, the gun was super accurate. The recoil was really nice. Again, all these things with this really high aggressive beaver tail, the double undercut, you know, the aggressive or somewhat aggressive, you know, cuts here into the frame for the accelerator cut. The gun just really tracks. It's just a flat shooter, guys. So for me personally, the only thing that I wasn't too crazy about is the rear sight. The rear sight really reminds me of the Trigicon HD sights, and I don't like those. I like a sight that has a wider channel, like a U-notch or just a wider channel, to be able to put that front sight in. Again, I'm in my mid-40s. You know, my vision's not as good as it used to be, especially at 43. So again, those are just some things that I wasn't too crazy about. And because of the way that I draw this gun with the claw method, I've had to adjust my grip a little bit when I draw this because of how pronounced this beaver tail is. So if you've got those really meaty hands and you get chewed up from Glocks, this is going to be a good solution for you guys, okay? And I can tell you that the MSRP, I think, on this one in the gun store was like $7.99. You know, plus tax and background. So honestly, a brand new Glock Gen 5 is going to run you like $630 in my area plus tax. So this is not a bad option. So anyway, guys, very impressed with the first impressions of Shadow Systems MR920. So guys, if you're new here, I would love to have you on board as a subscriber. Jump on here and join us for this journey. I've got lots more videos to come here in the near future. Guys, to my subscribers and supporters here on the channel, I can't thank you enough for being here and supporting me as we continue to keep gaining more subscribers and we start gaining more people to work with us here on the channel. So anyway, guys, I want to thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Until that next video, guys, take care. Be safe.